Let's turn your hamburger grease into soap. So what we're trying to do is extract the beef tallow out of the hamburger grease, and salt and pepper isn't going to affect this at all. You just take your drippings from your burgers, put it into your freezer, and then store it for a little while until you fill up a container worth. And this soap is only going to have 3 ingredients: beef tallow, water, and lye. This way you know exactly what's going into your soap, and it's half as expensive as the store-bought. Now, to do this, you're going to need a couple things. We have some food grade lye, and we also have a hand blender. I would also get a jar for your dedicated lye solution, because you don't want to eat that or contaminate it with something else. Now let's get started on the beef tallow extraction. First thing is you're going to get a crock pot or a pot on the stove at low heat, and then turn it on for about 6 to 8 hours depending, because I have some fat left over from steaks that is mixed in this, and that way it really gets broken down. It's not going to look the best at first, but trust the process. We're going to dump this out. Then I take this same bowl, fill it up with water, so it's 1 part water, 1 part fat, and then fill it up in there. Now you add the water in here because you don't want to scorch your fat. Next, you just turn it on low, put the lid on, and just let it go for a while. Now this is like those cooking shows where I have one I made earlier. What this is the pure beef tallow. After this gets done, you strain it, and I'm going to show you how to do that probably the next video. Eventually you're going to end up with a block of pure beef tallow. Has no smell. This is going to be our soap base. Now I've already weighed this, so I know the ratio, and I'm going to put it right here on what our mix to lye to water ratio needs to be. So what we're going to do is put this right in the pan and turn it on low just to get it melted and up to around 100 to 120 degrees. So for our lye, we need 4.67 ounces, if it even measures that way. Now go outside where you have good ventilation and mix your measured out water and lye solution. This is going to create fumes that you can't breathe in. Swirl it around, and this also will get so hot you can't even touch the jar. It's already probably 140 degrees. I can't hardly touch it now. But what you're going to do is let this sit till it gets down to about 100 degrees. Now that the tallow is melted, we're going to pour it into our mixing bowl. So something that's absolutely not necessary, I'm adding in this ingredient. It is a lavender plant I had that ended up dying, and I dried it out, turned it into a powder, into a coffee maker. Not necessary, but it's going to give the soap some fragrance. So this is where the magic happens. We're going to use this hand blender for about 5 minutes or so to blend up this lye solution with our tallow till it soapifies, and then I'll put it into molds and add my lavender as well. Now I have an old sheet pan that I use to hold the soap while it solidifies. You don't have to use these molds. You can use cardboard with parchment paper inside in the shape of a rectangle, and that will work just as good. But these molds, once you got them, you don't need them anymore, and they're easy to pop out of, and you pop them out the day after. So this is a little bit thin, and that's because it's still pretty hot. But once it cools down, it'll harden up and be soap. All right, so we have a dozen soaps, and at least from the raw materials, cost us about $5. If you buy 8 Dove bars, it cost you 11 bucks. So we've saved quite a bit of money here. And these will be able to be popped out and dried, and you let them cure for about 2 weeks, and you got your soap. You can use them in less than that, but they'll be a little bit soft. So I will show you what they look like whenever they're finished. And the next video, I'll show you what else we got going on.